Mr. Simmons. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm traveling around this country.
Really? Where are you?
Right now, I'm in Detroit. I was in Chicago yesterday, and I'll be with you tomorrow.
Nice. You're coming out to Hartford?
Yeah, I'm coming. You know, I'm going to be with the president, and I'm there to remind people of what we already know, that this progress ain't easy. It don't come just because we thought we dreamed it up. We have to work.
So that, of course, is going down, I believe, at the arena at Harbor Yard in Bridgeport tomorrow. And can just anybody attend? Because I was wondering about that.
Yeah. I'm going to be there.
Okay.
I was going to be there.
Well, the reason why I'm asking is sometimes, when the president or the first lady comes in town, they'll have those dinners that are like $1,000 a plate or something.
No. We're all going now. It's going to be a lots of thousands of people and a big party.
Okay, good. So that's at the arena at Harbor Yard tomorrow in Bridgeport. Russell Simmons. I know the voting process, doesn't it seem like things have kind of calmed down this time around? We need to spark up some more hope and energy.
I don't see how they missed that we got some health care reform. I don't see how they missed that we got some prison reform. I don't see how they missed that we got some financial reform. I don't see how they missed that we're doing some work on gay rights. I don't see how they missed, and for me it was important that we did some work on animal rights. I don't see how they missed that we're work in progress, and that the economic downturn is stopped dead and moving a little bit in the right direction. I don't see how they missed that in that short period of time, all that work that was done. But there's anger out there, and that anger ought to inspire you to do what's right. You better get out there and vote. If you stop your progress now, all that struggle you thought you were getting ready to get into, you can catch it. You have to vote for your team. Each person is responsible, even to themselves and for their own salvation, to be part of the whole. And you're connected, and you got a voice, and you got to holler. That's your job.
Well, Mr. Simmons, speaking of the anger that you just brought up a second ago, what do you think about, the ads this time around just seem so negative?
Man, the divisive work should inspire you to promote love. Obama's been the candidate who reminded us to go to speak in Cairo, to reach out to the Muslim community, to make statements to the world that were more tolerant, to recognize when we're not 100% right, to not to be arrogant and mean and have a mean footprint around the world, to look out the poor and come up with poverty programs for them, to look at the job situation and put lots of work into it, to put financial reform to stop the rich from raping the poor. He's been paying attention. He's your leader. He needs support. So that's just real talk. You let the Tea Party, they're angry and they got a voice. They said they want to go back to where you know things happen overnight. I was telling the story how 29 out of 30 people voted, of course, build a prayer center. Imam Raoul, you've been here for 40 years. Why can't you have another prayer center down the block from where you had the old one? Everybody was cool. Then the media made a twist, and 80% of Americans said they can't have a mosque. And this country is built on religious freedom. You think things don't happen overnight? It was overnight that change happened. So all of us who have seen bad experiences as groups, because every suffering of every group is my suffering, but if it was that you were African-American and you didn't have certain things, if it was that you were Muslim today and you experience such horrible, or if it's Jewish and have anti-Semitism that's more apparent now than it has been in 10 years or 20 years, to have these things rising around us and say nothing, you can catch one. I'm not trying to scare people. I'm just making a point. It could happen. That's my job. I promote dialogue between imams and rabbis around the world, and that imam in particular, America, even George Bush has used him to promote tolerance and interfaith dialogue for years. And he's been down there preaching for years. For me, he promotes love. It's his job. And the Interfaith Prayer Center makes good sense. But they can scare you and tell you that because 2 Muslims said something bad, that 1.9 Muslims can't be celebrated. Horrible. Country was built on the First Amendment. Religious tolerance is the principle that this country was built on. So we can go the other way, and we have to, as individuals, your karma depends on your voice. You can't stop the world, but if you can't go out there and express your voice, you might as well not be here. I want people to go out and vote, man. Be here.
Russell, when will you be a politician?
I ain't going to be no politician. I just put out a reality show.
I'm just wondering, though, when are you going to run for something? Because I think your voice is extremely important.
I'm a yogi. I'm a soft-ass yogi. If I run for something, I'll be promoting. Man, I'll dismantle all that violent crap and build a Department of Peace. And I'll reach out and spend some of that money helping poor people around the world and promote goodwill. And they'll shoot me immediately. But I'm just saying, never mind that. I have a reality show. Let me get a light subject. And it starts on November 2nd. And in the Bhagavad Gita or the scripture, and every scripture says, do the work and forget the result. Just do the work. Make sure you vote. And go home and watch my reality show.
Yes, it's called Running Russell Simmons. It's premiering Tuesday, November 2nd, 10 o'clock on the Oxygen Network. It's all about a day in the life.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, I can't. I watch the show. I laugh at what a silly character I am. I'm a yogi, not a priest. I have lots of things that I do that people might not find so fun. I hope I have an inspiring enough life that people, get something from it. Rev said his show was his pulpit. MTV was his pulpit. That he taught inspiring ideas from MTV. A funny place. And I'm following the bad girls. And I think that what we're saying is inspiring. So what we do is inspiring. First show, we raised $400,000 for Sarah Leong and built a maternity ward. We used 200 supermodels to do it. It was a fun show. A lot of fun stuff happened. I hope that it really, we can teach meditation, a lot of meditation and prayer. I want kids all over the country to meditate. There's a lot of discussions about animal rights. I want people to understand about the 10 billion suffering animals. A lot of discussions about gay rights. I want people to be more tolerant. Religious tolerance and the imams and rabbis and that dialogue that we have, that's very focal and very visible on the show. So see the show. I think it's fun. A lot of funny language on it, so keep your kids away from it, but it's mostly a good show.
Can I ask you something about your brother, by the way? I follow him on Twitter, as I do follow you, and I saw your message yesterday about voting. Every day, Rev Run says something inspirational. He says it maybe 5 to 6 times a day. Just anything. Just, the simplest of things, just to kind of, pick up everybody's mood. Is he really that happy in real life?
Well, I can only speak for myself. I send out prayer on Twitter because it keeps me in prayer. The reason I send out the yogic science that I do, and the ideas that are from scripture or from any good source I can find it, is because when I send out these quotes, it reminds me and keeps me in prayer. All of us are faced with remembering to remember. We know what's right, but we don't always do what's right. But when we keep it fresh in our minds, it's why the yogis chant the name of God over and over again so they don't forget. Not because they don't know it, but they forget it. And we want to keep ourselves in prayer, and that's what Rev does. I'm around him a lot, and sometimes he'll just sit there and write prayer. I think he's really talking to himself as well as the people. He's serving everyone with that. So, that's what Rev does. I'm pretty sure. I know that's how I do it. I know that's how he does it. I think even His Holiness, the Dalai Lama. It's funny, though. The Dalai Lama got 40,000 followers, and Ashton Kutcher got 4 million.
Well, how many do you have?
Isn't that funny? So when Rev gets 1.5 million followers and he's only doing prayer, it's really inspiring to me.
Right.
I got a few followers too, and only prayer. And sometimes I tell you to read a story on globalgrind.com, but mostly, then that's a political story usually too, and some social about voting. Mostly the stories I've been tweeting about that you click to are stories about voting and about this election and some political and social issue that you should be aware of.
Let me ask you about this book.
The book is not for a while. It's called Super Rich. It's a follow-up to the last book. Oprah sold a lot of the last one. And it's about consciousness and about getting money, if that's what you think. But it's certainly is a source of all the success is this consciousness that the book is about.
Well, I know you have to go, Mr. Simmons, but thank you so much for checking in today. And we look forward to seeing you in Connecticut tomorrow. And thank you for all your hard work. We appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Take care.